สวัสดีครับ Hi there. We meet again. This is Chef Pan from Thai Essence. I'm a chef instructor, cookbook author, and a former restaurant owner. This is lecture number 4. The topic is about the recognize variation of the Thai, variation of the dish, the Thai dish. So we will talk about the mainstream of Thai dish and then variation of Thai food like hors d'oeuvre, soup, salad, stir fry, curry, grill, barbecue, bake, boil, steam, dipping sauce, and Thai dessert, and the fusion dish in Thai cuisine. Are you ready? Let's go. So the mainstream of Thai food, it's about 4 things that is come clearly you see everywhere in Thailand. It come out of every part of Thailand or everywhere in the world right now. You talk about hors d'oeuvre in Thai, they call อาหารว่าง The main course is อาหารคาว and dessert is อาหารหวาน and then a one plate meal is อาหารจานเดียว This is like a street food or something quick for lunch. You order them, mostly they come out within 5 to 10 minutes, so you don't lose a lot of time, and then you still, grab and go easily, and the food is pretty, what you got, everything is designed to be within the dish. It have complete composition of the meal. It's very well balanced. You have fruit, you have vegetable, you have meat, you have protein, you have all these goodies within one dish. For example, if you look at this dish. Let me get my here. That's the dish. This is one plate meal. It have complete composition. You have rice, you got some vegetable, you have protein. So you have several kind of meat. This is fried rice, one of the fried rice. So we will go through all of these so that you understand what the Thai food is all about, because it's not just pad Thai that you know. Okay, this is like this mainstream. You have like hors d'oeuvre, soup, salad, grill, barbecue, bake, deep fried. That's all these things that I just mentioned before. So the 3 main things that I I always tell my students, this is what you need to know. Because in English and Thai is kind of okay. In English called soup, but everything is soup in English. So, but Thai, it's different base of the soup. They call tomจืด tom kha, tom yum, tom kong, like a spicy, coconut milk soup, tom yum, tom kha. They're all different base. But in English, everything is tom, is soup. But in Thai, sometimes it's soup, sometimes it's spicy soup, but they have different base. It's based on the ingredients that they use, based on the Thai curry that they use. And then the salad, everything the same thing. Everything is salad. But the Thai base, you have several things. They have lab, you have yum, you have pla. If you go to Northeastern, they have koi, those kind of thing, and spicy. That's something that they do. It depends on the ingredient. If they eat like from Northeastern, they eat raw beef with the raw blood. It called sok leg, and that is people like me. I can't eat it. A lot of foreigners cannot eat it because it's just too much. In ภาษาอีสาน, the the northeastern they call ju. That is, I think, is pretty much it's like a sock leg in the central called sock leg. So that means you eat raw beef with blood, raw blood, those kind of things. So we don't do that. And then kill, barbecue, bake, everything, like, you barbecue, you bake, you in the skewer, and then you charcoal grill it, those kind of things. There are many kind of cooking, the technique and the way it's cooked. And then you have to understand the deep fry, pan fry, and stir fry. Like a fried chicken they do deep fry. But some recipe is light, some recipe is heavy. But in the US, like a Chinese style, they do double dip. They dip with some egg or something, they coat it, and then they dip it again, and then they go to deep fry, and then you have the meat about that much, and then you have the crust about that much. So you literally too much flour. In Thai cooking, usually not. It's very light. In my classical Thai cooking, especially the Bangkok food, they always they marinate the meat real good. They go in before they fry, they just dust it with the flour. If you're gluten-free flour, you have to mix your own special gluten-free, because if you're not gluten-free, you can use all panko, you can use all these ready mix, but mostly it made with wheat flour. So because the wheat flour can hold pretty well, but that's Thai we mix, rice flour, sticky rice flour, tapioca flour that we mix together to make the good mix of, pan for deep fry. When you do pan fry, something that you don't want a lot of oil, you can do cook like a halfway one side, another halfway the other side, fast and quick. And we do the same thing. You don't want too much cook with too much oil. That means you do the pan fry. The stir fry is pretty much the Thai food do a lot of stir fry to cook it. Stir fry vegetables, stir fry this, stir fry that, stir fry a lot of things. So then boil, steam, dipping. You got a lot of steamed food in Thailand. It's similar to a lot of Chinese have, steamed food, but the Thai have really solid steamed food. Like you steam egg with the seafood inside, those kind of thing. Or you steam some vegetable and then you eat with a dip. The dipping sauce is very popular in Thailand. They call nam prik, and they have all kind of dipping sauce. And mostly, if you go to north somewhere, they do exotic, dipping, because it depends on whatever available for them. So that we do those kind of dip. So it's nam prik. It's pretty much everywhere we have it, but it's different version. Some they do this, some they do that, add and subtract or whatever it is. And then the curry is the big thing in Thai cooking, because curry have about almost 300 something curry if you look into it. So, but it, the white people, the Western can about 14, curry that they can handle. Because, just, I want red curry, I want yellow curry, and green curry. Then when you talk about Penang curry, Massaman curry, blue, because the Penang curry is crossed between red curry and Massaman curry. This is the most popular dish in Thai cuisine, because everything you do, you cook with, it's very easy, very simple, and very delicious, because the curry that they make itself, Penang curry. Massaman curry is come from the Muslim, the South. So it pretty much the southern cooking, but you have this is turmeric, aroma, all these kind of things. But you got to know how to cook, and if you get the total command of it, this is one of the best dish that you ever ask for. Is Massaman curry, especially if you eat it with lamb, with beef, or chicken, with pork it's okay, but with lamb, with beef, if you do massaman curry, the bait, because I don't eat any of those. Usually I can cook it, I can smell it, but I don't taste it because I don't eat those kind of thing, but I can cook it very well because I use the scent and smell and how much I put in there, and then I smell all the beef before I cook and how much ingredient I need to do in order to eliminate all these gaming uh, from the meat. So and then the dessert, the Thai dessert is huge because a lot of them, the classical Thai dessert, traditional Thai dessert is a lot already, and then you add the Portuguese, you know, dessert on top of that. So you get variety of dessert if you go to Thailand. Or if some restaurant they do pretty well, but then we do standard. If you go to Thailand, you see a lot of exotic dessert. If you like sweet, that's a good way to go. Go to the night market that they sell. Usually they sell at night because people will buy them and take home, and then the next day they eat. Okay. Now is order. Usually the Thai food you see a lot of things that package to the order side, and bits and pieces. So something that dry, not running. Like you cannot have the soup or the hors d'oeuvre and those kind of thing because we don't do that. The hors d'oeuvre, in order to do passing hors d'oeuvre, you can carry several things go around it. Even though you sit there, you still have to really do arrangement, those kind of thing. So this is like the hors d'oeuvre. These have the stuff, meat and ingredient in there, and they deep fried it and wrap with a wonton skin. So this one is crab salad. So you make the salad and you put in a special bowl and you make it yourself. And this is how the arrangement go. You can, like a finger food, you can grab and eat it. But this thing little bit more involved. You need a fork or spoon to eat with. This is a steamed uh, pork curry. This is like everybody know that one. This is because of the Chinese, they have it, and then the Thai have it. The Thai version, the Chinese. Everybody have different version, but the Thai version are similar to the Vietnamese version. And then this one we do like fresh roll. It's a lot of fresh roll. This is spring roll, this is fresh roll, But this one fry, this one fresh, but the inside is different. That's all. Usually it is accompanied with the sauce that you do, like those kind of thing. Sometimes they put a sauce on top of it and have dipping sauce or the salad. They kind of thing. You don't need sauce. This is a peanut, peanut with the tamarinds. Uh, they call ma ho in Thailand, but it's really better than peanut butter because that is have more texture, crunchy and sweet and sour in there. And then you got to eat with fresh pineapple. So it's a lot of, not too many people know how to do them, but it's very simple. A lot of my students learn from me, and then they use that for their order to impress their friends. So, and again, food and wine pairing. That is the most of the time we order. It is a good one to pairing with the wine because you can go specific wine specific order. If you cannot just pie everything in there and then you got a wine because the Thai food is have very specific. If you have the wine, you know, so you can pair with the good wine. The good wine you can pair with the Thai food. You can be any level, but you have to know intensity of the food. This food, this dish is, this is sweet comfort. What kind of wine you want to pairing with? You know, those type of things you have to know. In one of these lecture at the end lecture, I think I talk about it. So this is the order. And then you have, soup. Soup it have so many base. The bland broth, clear broth is like this kind of like this is is like way medicinal. Or they like to cook with the bitter gourd, with all those kind of thing, but it bland. It's bland, bland, bland. It's not spicy. This is what the nurturing. When you get sick, something you can't eat spider, you eat this kind of soup. So and then spicy board. Then you cook with this kind of thing. Spicy board. You cook with the chili, several kind of herb and spice in there. And then buttery spicy board is like a tom kha gai, like have coconut milk in there. This kind of thing. This is almost a similar, but the difference is this is a buttery broth. You have either milk or coconut milk. So and then you got the rice soup, another one. They call soup. See, everything called soup, but this is the rice soup. You have a plain rice with the water and a little bit of salt, and they eat with many kind, many dish that they cook, to eat with it. So it is rice soup. And that khao tom kui is another one. They cook the soup with rice soup, with fish, with pork, with chicken, depend. Whatever you do is still called soup. And then you have a noodle, the noodle broth. Now the Thai, Thai we have almost similar to po, for the Vietnamese famous noodle soup, but the Thai had a lot more. And because we have the Chinese, a lot of Chinese create a lot of the noodle soup. You you have the ghee noodle soup, dark noodle soup, pork noodle soup, all kind of things that they make. That's still called soup, but the noodle is they have to make their own special broth. Slow cooked meat, those type of things. Sometimes they cook with blood. So you at the end they pour the broth in there still thing hot and then stir it and they eat. But I don't do those kind of things. And then another last thing that very popular they call hot pot now. They have all kind of raw food around it and then they dip into the hot pot and then have the salt on the side and then they eat. And this is like a family, a friend gathering. That what people like to go in there and then, just eat and talk and enjoying the food. So this is a soup, right? They call soup many kind of things, but they still call soup. To be careful when you try to order the food in the restaurant, just make sure you understand what kind of soup you are having. Nowadays, every restaurant have picture on it. If they don't have picture, you have to ask questions because it can be anything that misunderstanding. You might end up with chicken duck, or you might end up with a duck feed noodle soup, those kind of thing. Just be careful. Okay, and then the salad. The salad is have pretty mainstream with lap, yam, pa. That means lap is a spicy salad, something that is more spicy. You put more chili in there, and then everything half cooked, half raw, those kind of thing is good. And usually it go with the meat, fish or meat or those kind of thing. If the fish, usually they fry them first and take only the meat, and then they do the lap. They make the lap ingredient. They use that. And yum usually either seafood or vegetable or fruit. They do yum. It mean it lighter. It not. It can be spicy, but it's lighter. And pra is something it partially cooked. It's not like you cook the meat. If some people eat raw because they rely on lamb juice to cook with it, and some people, the Bangkok people, they brunch in the hot water and take it out right away. Inside it till red, and then they have to finish it up with the lamb juice. So that different. And then the goi, the one they're talking about, you have raw meat, is some with the gallbladder, the juice in there. They put in there some bitter net, and that usually they cook with meat, especially the beef. And then the if they add the raw blood in there, it's called soklek, a different name. So that is from the northeastern people. They love to eat that. So the central people, they don't do raw meat, or they don't do raw blood. No, especially the Bangkok people like me, we don't do that. Again, stir fry, deep fry, and pan fry. Stir fry is easy, quick, and less oil in Thai cooking. But you got Chinese cooking, more likely you get very oily because they put a lot more oil in there in Thai to cook. They are a little bit different discipline. But the Thai, they use less oil. You got 2 tablespoons pretty much to do the stir fry, to just prevent the food stick on the pan pretty much. And then you have a deep fry. The deep fry, it have a high heat, greasy, saturated fat, those kind of things. Mostly, if you use the canola oil, you're better off. If you use the vegetable oil, that's what you're going to get, saturated fat from deep fry, because you have to cook longer time. And, it becomes greasy if you not be careful what kind of oil you use. And yet, literally, you have to drain with a paper towel every time you cook deep fry to suck the grease out when you rest your fried chicken or something that you do there. So usually if you watch your weight, you don't eat too much of deep fry anyway. In Thai cooking, it kind of fattening too. So in the pan fried, it's pretty much common in Bangkok food, because the Bangkok people don't like to do deep fry because it takes too long and too much fat. So this is a small amount of oil and lower heat and less grease when you do pan fry, and quicker. So this is understand the stir fry, deep fry, and pan fry. This is a fundamental in Thai cooking. That's grill barbecue. So that is grill barbecue and bake. So now we talk about boil, steam, and dipping sauce. You boiling. So a lot of Thai cooking we do boiling, this kind of thing. But the this is cinnamon base. It's similar to Chinese, but we are a little bit different. But we use some Chinese ingredients in here. It's called palo. The name is palo, but this is vegetarians. This one. So then you have, like steamed mussel, steamed curry, steamed eggs, steamed chicken. Those kind we do. It's a lot of steam in Thai cooking. Even though we cook the sticky rice, this is a sticky rice cooker. So we steam them instead of using rice cooker. We don't do that. And this is stack steamer. That's what we use a lot of it. And then the boil, that's what we do. And then the dipping sauce, we've been to that. Most the dipping sauce is popular because they eat with raw vegetable. Thai food eat a lot of raw vegetable. Thai people, because it come out with it. Sometimes you want to be fancy, but you have to carve a little bit. Learn how to do that a little bit. If you do the Royal Thai cuisine, they carve, you evaporate. They carve the food is really up to another next level up, but we don't do that because it's difficult to maintain the integrity of the vegetable. Because I mean, let the time go by 2 3 hours, either they turn black or become wolf. So that's very difficult to do. But usually the Thai people eat raw vegetable. Okay, this is a boys team. Be aware of what we have. Now we're talking about the curry. The type of curry, you know, it depends on the type of chili. If the green curry, they use green chili. The red curry, you use red curry. It is dry red curry. And then you have other curry like Massaman curry, Penang curry. They do all the kind of mix combination of curry, herb, and spice to make the curry. That why it's healthy within itself, and then it's flavorful and dynamite when you really do spicy thing, like explosions, those kind of thing. They they have the way to make it curry. It's a lot of curry in Thailand, but if you do go into the category of the curry, because each village, each place, a lot of people doing curry differently, and they call different names. Sometimes come from the same base, sometimes it's different bases, a lot of it, and they still call curry. And then nowadays, homemade curry is you have to be really way out in the village. Usually people buy curry from the market. It's already sell on the market, not canned. So if in Thailand you go to the market, you see the curry, big pot of curry pile, and you buy for uh, a quarter of the pound, those kind of thing, and you can take home and put it in the refrigerator, pack it and put it in the refrigerator, keep for good 2 3 weeks without any problem. Here in the U.S., if somebody say, "Oh, you make your own curry," I say, "Are you crazy? You out of your mind? You can't do that. You don't have enough ingredient. It take you half of the day of some curry, take you a whole day like mole. Mole, the Mexican mole from Oaxaca. It take you a long time, but nobody doing that anymore. The curry, they buy the curry. They buy the curry paste because like mè xì, mè proy, all the things they've been in do the manufacturing of these for more than 60, 70 years. They know what it is. When you try to make yourself, you don't know what it tastes like. So might as well use the professional that they do it. They know better than you. That's why it come out. It get popular. Because they can maintain the characteristic. So buy the curry and choose the brand that you like and stick with it. If you don't have other bands, or sometimes, when I travel, I carry my in a small can and go with it. If I go somewhere I don't have, I can't find it, I want to eat curry, so I pull out my curry and cook the curry and give it to other travelers. So, try it out. This Thai food, so a lot more fun that way. So anyway, and then you have the coconut milk. Curry with coconut milk, like the top one here. This is a Penang roast duck curry. So it have more buttery in there. This is some curry with a bit of gold. So this have coconut milk in there. This one have coconut milk, but this one is still curry, what they call gang som, like a soup, but it's spicy soup pot. So this one the same thing, but these two, this is hang lei. This is northeastern Thailand. This is ginger curry. And this is the some they have this is a sour leaf that they cook with a fatty pork. This is a fatty pork cooked with ginger. They're totally different, but the taste is totally different. This is come from the north. This is come from the east. So it's come from every part of the world. So every part of Thailand. That's how the curry does. And sometimes you have dry curry. You do like something like this because you use the curry, but you use a really late water, and after you cook the chicken and you go in and you coat with it, or you can cook with the chicken until the curry the simmer down, this kind of thing, like a poaching style. And then sometimes already make your food, marinate everything, put it in bamboo shoot and grill it. That's still called curry. Yeah. And then, but they have different name. And, you know, like a soup like board, this kind of thing. And then dry, lead liquid, those kind of thing. This is come variation of curry. And this is a musselman curry that is very popular. So I do that from time to time because the chicken is falling apart fast if you and you can't reheat them that well because the chicken doesn't hold. If you cook with beef or lamb, you do a lot more interesting thing and more flavor. And I think it's more delicious. I eat it. I eat when I was young. When I get old, I got problem with my skin rash. If I eat it, I got a rash. So that's why allergy. So I don't do those kind of thing. But anything else I eat. So then you talk about the dessert. You have classical Thai dessert like this. You have the pumpkin, steamed pumpkin. This is the pandan leaf with the coconut on top of it. It's a Thai dessert is afternoon snack. We don't eat dessert after meal because that is not because the dessert is mostly sickening sweet. After you have the meal and you have the sickening sweet and you have the wine on it and then make you sick. No, well, we don't do that with the Thai dessert, and we don't have dessert at all. We keep on drinking. That pretty much we do. So it's an afternoon snack and then sickening sweet, and then most of the time you can't eat with alcohol. Sweet and alcohol doesn't go together. In this country they do port and then they go to sweet, but it is long. You cannot do after meal like you people hanging around or kind of thing. Then you serve them. So it's not after meal like we know. So we don't do that dessert after meal period. And then we do all kind of dessert. Dessert is a big menu too. A lot of people that do some kind of fancy thing, carving, those kind of make it so look pretty and taste good. I have a friend of mine doing that, but from time to time I will go in and eat, but it's too much sweet for me. But from time to time we say, hey, can you do it? Tone it down, you know, not too much sweet, and then they make it for not too much, and then you can eat. Otherwise, too much sweet. If your teeth is not good like me, it go right to your teeth. It's not too good. Now we're talking about fusion Thai dish. Fusion Thai dish. I travel almost 28 countries around almost around the world. I go to Central America, South America, Europe, Asia, and pretty much everywhere you go, they call Thai food. And pretty much a fusion with the Chinese, fusion with the Malayan, fusion with all the Indian, fusion with Mexican, and they still call Thai food. That is someone say, what? You say call it Thai food? I went to literally in Mexico. I literally told them, here in my cookbook, if you want to know how to cook, I will teach you. I will come and teach you, and we, 4 or 5 days. This is don't call it don't call it Thai food literally because it's not Thai food. You made it up. It's so like a bland, no spice, and you call green curry, and then that is not good. So if you want to say, okay, you make Thai food, make it Thai food, make it stand out. Don't make it Thai. That the Mexican version Thai food is I think it's not the insulting, but it's not just don't call it Thai food. Then you make Thai people look bad. literally, you just say, okay, the fusion Thai. Oh, go for it, and nobody complained about it. You say, oh, you call yourself Thai food, you should be able to cook Thai food. Then you do your Thai food. Or I don't know how they try to using the Thai name to try to create it. It doesn't come out right, so it's kind of embarrassing for me. So most of the time when I see that, or I like to collect them. I say, oh, let do like I can do something. When I went to South America in Argentina, we went to see the whale, and then I don't want to go to the cold wheel, cold wind, that kind of thing. So I went to sit in the restaurant and talk to the lady, and the lady just kind of say, "Oh, you know too much." I say, "Oh yeah, I know good enough about how the food go." And then she said, okay, let me try something for you. I said, I don't have a lot of money, I said, she want to try it out and let me taste. So she cooked some, mussel. Not the mussel, it's scallop, in the shell. And baked very nice style, the Argentine, like Italian Argentinian style. And then they come in, and then she took it out and then said, I said, where the sauce? And she said, oh, we don't have any sauce. This is what is good already. I said, it's too buttery because you have cheese, you have all these things on top. Uh, Bring the lambs and then squeeze on and put it on top and eat it. And now you see the difference. And then I say, you try one, I try one, and she tasted, I will open up, wow, because it makes to the next level. It brings from the buttery, when the sour going there, it just kind of balancing it out to where it don't go too overwhelming with the buttery. She said, wow, and then she started talking, and I said, here, I have my cookbook, you can have it. And she was impressed. So anyway, that how they do when I go wherever I go eat food and critique and complain about it. Some people do like, some people don't like. So it was fun to me because I would challenge them. They challenge me, so they want how we do them. That's the fusion Thai dish. You go everywhere in the world, you will see the Italian, the Indian, the Laotian. They do, when the Laotian is similar to Thai, but when you really say, okay, we're Thai people, then we tone it down. Some exotic meats, some exotic ingredient that we can't tolerate, and then we tone it down. And then pretty much they do fusion Thai because every ethnic food in the world they want to do fusion Thai because they want to use the herb, but some technique they need to learn to where how to really maintain it. It just fly by, you just throw this thing, throw that thing, like on top of that, at the end you throw something on that. That is, in Thai they will not do that. We will cook in, some herb, and the leaf they will slice nicely and make it something look good and something aromatic coming out. Every herb that they use in Thai cooking, you got to be able to smell it. Okay, that is all about the variation of the Thai dish. And the next session we will talk about the food safety. The food safety, this is a little bit more intense, but it really good information that you probably want to experience it, and then we will give you more information when you go to that one. And then again, it will coming up pretty soon, hand-on, Zoom cooking, my style. This is just created a modify the thing. We don't do like a lot of people do. Oh yeah, Zoom cooking, but you cannot do analysis or you cannot give them the feedback, direct feedback to them, because you have to be able to see it and be able to recognize it all the how did they do. You questioning them, say this is what you do, this is it, and you be able to tell them this is what went wrong and how you correct it. That is skill. You have to have that, to do this kind of thing. In my class, I have no problem because I run around with people, and I told them, "Oh, this is wrong. This is why it come out this way." So you know why, and then we tell you why. And then usually a less mistake, a minor mistake that I can adjust for them because they see the demo. I cook the demo every time, every dish I do, and then explain it to them. They have to, they see it, they smell it, they taste it, and they see the sequential how to do it. And then when group it up, they do it themselves or do it among their group. I go around and assist it and yelling, doing that. That's the fun part for me because I will go to this group, to that group, talk to these people, talk to that people, exchanging experience, and at the same time I teaching them, I encourage them, and most of the time people walk out of my class happy. I get good feedback from my students. So anyway, when you go to my website, if you want more information on all these things, you can go direct to my website. You can, I have the link that you go to all of the fundamental of Thai cooking. This is a aspect of Thai food. So go, the information is under the cooking tab. So, and this is something about me, some you're missing it. So I will remind you a little bit what I do. So maybe you interested to taking some class, just shoot me the email or leave me the message. When I set it up the class, I will shoot it out the email and give an announcement, and you have to register because my class is maximum is 24 people, not more than that, because I can handle 24 people in 2 hours and a half max. Then we can go. Because if you have a friends, whole group of your friends want to do it at once, so I can do that too. So because you like a personal group, just among your group and how many people, let me know, and then we can go from there. Usually I do cooking class based on, if I don't do in Santa Rosa Junior College, my cooking for my public cooking for the community education. Then I sell to the people like a corporate people. They have a whole gang of people, what kind of food they want. So we create those kind of we learn how to cook those kind of dish and food and wine pairing, those kind of things. So we go more intense, more involved with the special group. So, and if you have your family, if somebody birthday, those kind of thing, you want to join, let me know, because this is the way to do it, and you can do the whole thing. Everybody can join each other via Zoom. This is good for dealing with the COVID-19. So, okay, enjoy my informations, and then I hope you like the information, and we will meet again the next sessions of the lecture. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to leave this video on. สวัสดีครับโชคดีครับ I mean Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully, this video enticed you. If it did, please share. You can follow us at thaiessence.com. THAIESSENCE.com. Or on the Facebook at Kunpan, KHUNPHANT, at Kunpan on the Facebook. And the YouTube, Classical Thai Cooking by Chef Pan. See you on the next video. Have a pleasant day. Until then, ขอบคุณครับ